tomorrow we'll actually get to start solving equations, which I hope y'all will be excited about. But today we're going to talk about some translating some sentences and some things. So kind of what we were doing on the test, we did little snippets of. We're going to really amp that up today. All right. So we're gonna do some interpretation. So remember things we've learned about what certain words mean. We're going to let some variables go in here, plug in some random. Anyway, we'll just start to interpret. So let's look at one to start with. I think the easiest thing to do with this type of scenario is to jump in and then talk about how we're going to translate. So I'm going to give you a sentence, and what we're going to do is we're going to translate it into an equation. Okay, we've been translating into expressions. Now we're going to translate into equations. What's the difference? Equation has an equal sign. You're exactly right. All right. Let's start easy. 7 times a number squared. Y'all don't like that squared. Is 5 times the difference of K and M. Okay, remember we're talking about now we're into equations instead of expressions. The biggest thing I'm going to tell you is one word that indicates to us that it is an equation instead of an expression. Do you know what that word is? That's exactly right. This tells us there's an equal sign there. Is always means equals, okay? I'll give you a second. Some of you are still copying that. All right. 7 times a number squared.
7 times a number, 7.
All right. So let's look at this first. Times means what?
Multiplication.
Multiply. 7 is obvious. Number squared means what?
X squared.
To the second power, right? Or x times x, right? But squared, since we got squared, we'll put it to the second power. We know is means equals. 5, that's obvious. Times, again, is multiply. What does difference mean? That's going to tell me to subtract. Okay, of K and M. So I'm going to subtract K and M. So K minus M, right? So let's put all this together. How might I say 7 times a number squared? 7x squared. Just putting them together like that is enough. And this was on your last set. Really, both of these, the difference is we're doing two expressions and setting them equal to make an equation. Okay, it's okay. Does it say allow? That's your job, David. That's your job. Oh, my. All right, is. So this is where I need what? Equal sign. 5 times the difference of K and M. 5. Okay, so I hear 5 times. There you go. Whoever said it. George. If I leave it like this, I want you to see the difference here, okay? George said put parentheses, and he's absolutely right. But I want to show you what happens if you leave it like this. When you do order of operations, this is really 5 times K. Then you subtract M. That's not what the problem's telling me. The problem's telling me to do 5 times the difference of those two numbers. So that tells me that I need to do the difference first. And the only way to ensure that I do that first is to throw some parentheses around there, because that groups them together, right? All right, let's do another one. Let's see. Let's do 15 times a number subtracted from 80 is 25. I'll give you a second to copy it. But let's look at what we know here. 15 is obvious, that's 15, right? What does times mean? Multiply, that's right. A number. CJ, get off my chalkboard. X. Subtracted from 80. Subtracted, we know what subtracted means, but this is where it starts getting sticky, okay? Because we always get confused when we start saying the difference or subtracted from to know which one comes first and which one comes second, okay? But we do know that is equal, right? All right. So let's think about this. We know 15 times a number looks like what? 15x, right? But if I want it subtracted from 80, does that mean it's 15x minus 80 or 80 minus 15x? Let me write them both and let you look. Only one of these is right. 80 minus 15x, because it says it's subtracted from 80. So you take it away from 80. So to take it away from 80, you have to start with 80, right? If you take $10 away from, if I take $10 away from George, I have to start with how much George has first and then take $10 away, right? So it's 80 minus 15x. Is means equal. What's it equal? 25. Let's give you one to try. Let's say 2 plus the quotient, ooh, good word, the quotient of a number and 8 is the same as 16. All right, some of us have got it. Some of us are going, I'm not so sure. There's some words in here. Let's see.
Quotient.
Plus means
Addition.
quotient means
Division.
Oh,
And I know
what's
every
it?
other word.
Okay, we know every other word.
Yeah.
Okay. So 2 plus, that's easy, right? 2 plus. If quotient means divide, look at what I'm dividing. I'm dividing a number and 8. How do I write that? How about if I write it like that? The same thing? Maybe a little bit more sophisticated. Instead of that little division sign this way, I do it as a fraction. Not wrong if you do the division sign. But if you do the division sign, y'all are right. You would need to put the parentheses around the x and the 8. All right, what does it equal? Y'all got this.
Sure. I don't know if I got it.
Let's do another one. You can. You can. It's better to put them in and not need them than need them and not have them because, yeah, when it's something like a quotient or a difference. Let's look at this one. Let's put some words in here that actually mean something other than what we've been doing. All right, I'm going to write it up here. I'm going to let you, give you a chance to write it, and then we'll talk about it. Let's see. There are 40 members in the Florida Senate. This is 80 fewer than the number in the Florida House of Representatives. Now, whenever I see the word fewer, what does that key me into? I'm subtracting something somewhere, right?
Facts.
All right. How many members are in, and I'm going to put Florida House of Representatives, since we already said that one time here. Yeah. The first thing that I want to do is I want to identify my variable, okay? In other words, what am I looking to find? What do I not know? What is it?
How many House of Representatives?
I'm looking for the members of the House of Representatives, right? This is what I'm looking for. So that's what I'm going to let be X, or whatever variable you want. Maybe you like the variable H better for House of Representatives, or R for Representatives, or F for Florida. Whatever you want it to be, it does not matter. Okay, Xavier, if you'll put that phone away, please, ma'am. And George, put your laptop away. So I'm going to let it be X, right?
Yes.
So now I want to look. Every time I see House of Representatives in here, I'm going to let that be X. So 80 fewer number in X, right? So how might I set this up? There are 40 members in the Senate, 80 fewer than in the House of Representatives. So 80 fewer than X. How do I say 80 fewer than X? Here we go again. You got to remember which order. You're exactly right, Zenaria. 80 fewer than X means I have to do, right? 80 fewer than X, right? What does that equal? 40. It says there are 40 members in the Florida Senate. This is my equal sign. So the 40 equals 80 fewer than X. And so how many, looking at this, we haven't gotten to solving equations yet, but looking at this, what number would you have to plug in for X in order to get 40 there? So 40 minus 80?
No. 100. No, 120.
Woo! Okay. There are 120, right. And again, maybe you know how to solve, but we're just kind of reasoning through here. This is the big concept for this lesson, is setting that up, okay? But how many would that mean? Well, what number would you have to put in there, is what we're thinking about to see how many. Let's go a different direction. What words might I use for that equation? All right, I hear 6 times a number. I would absolutely do that here. 6 times a number. What's another way that I could write 6 times a number?
Oh.
What else? I'm looking for another word we use for multiplication. Product. How might I use? Nice try. How might I use the word product in that? Product of 6 and a number. Either one of those would be sufficient to represent 6x. Now, how might I say taking 15 away from that, or subtracting 15? I could say minus 15. What's another way? How? Less than 15 or 15 less than? 15 less than. Less than what?
Less than the product of 6 and 1.
Exactly. What do we use for equal? Is. So there's multiple ways we could do this, right? We could say 15 less, let me put it in quotes here, 15 less than, is it 15 less than the product of 6 and a number. Would that work? Is 45. Okay? Or maybe you said 6 times a number minus 15 is 45. Or maybe you said 15 less than 6 times a number is 45. Any of those work. Okay? So I just want you to understand the order here that you write those in. Tell me what you think. Easy? You say that now. All right. Here's what I want you to do.